Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Sanhedrin Perek Bet Mishnah Dalet. Over here, continuing the laws of the king. Over here, in regards to war. That's how we're going to start off this Mishnah. He takes them out to Milchamet Reshut. Again, Milchamet Reshut is an optional war where you want to extend the borders of Am Yisrael. It's any type of war other than fighting the 7 nations of Canaan and Milchamet Amalek, right? Now, part of the condition, we mentioned this earlier, conditions of going to Milchamet Reshut, you can't, and not everyone could just go to war. You need to have a king and you need to have a Sanhedrin in order to have to go to Milchamet Reshut. As we know, we mentioned this earlier. Right? So he takes Milchamet Reshut, al pi bedin shel 71. Uporetz la'asot lo derech. Right? He could go and open a pathway. Ve'en memachin bi'ado. No one could stop him. Derech HaMelech en la shiur. Right? The King's Highway, right? There's no boundary, right? He could as wide as he wants to make it, as wide as he wants to make that street that he wants to pass through, he could do so. Right? The entire, by the way, it's interesting. Rambam actually explains this also in Mishnah Torah. He explains this as part of the laws of war, right? Not just regularly. He could just go ahead and take over people's property wherever he wants. Other Mefarshim actually explain differently. The entire nation. Okay, so everyone, they loot, they take what they want from the camp that they just fought, that they beat. They bring back all the booty in return. But he, right, the king takes first. Now he takes half of everything they brought back, and he takes it first. In addition, Rambam says, to what they took over from the other king, because whatever they take from the king goes to the king. Mamon hamelech lamelech. Right? It continues to the one king's property goes to the next king's property. In addition to that, he gets half of whatever the nation brought back home. Now the Mishnah continues in regards to the more laws of the king. Over here now in regards to his wives, the amount of wives he can have, the amount of horses for his chariot, and his wealth. So lo yarbed lo nashim ela 18. He can have, too many wives. How much could he have? Tanakama says max 18. Right? He could have as many as he wants, as long as they don't sway his heart. Rabbi Shimon even if there's one who's swaying his heart, right, to worship Avodah Zarah or something. So so what does the pasuk say? Lo nashim. Even someone as great as Abigail, right? He can't have too many wives. He can only have as much as he needs for his chariot. Now over here, it's not talking about for his army, right? Or even for a legion as deterrence for the other nations, so they see how strong he is. Over here, it's talking about his personal chariot. That all he's allowed to have is like everyone else. He can have one. He can't overdo it. Right? It's very interesting that even a king can't overdo it when he's when it comes to his own personal chariot. The Mishnah continues, can have too much wealth, right? In order enough so you could support the army. Now over here again, it says, Rambam points out that he can't take too much for himself, right? Meaning, he wants to build his own wealth, build a bigger castle, fields, whatnot. Right, but when it comes to gathering for the nation, right, for the treasury, right, so you could take care of Israel, this is a mitzvah leharbotam, right? It's a mitzvah to collect more, so you can really take care of everyone. And the Mishnah continues, right? He writes a Sefer Torah for himself. He goes to war. The Sefer Torah is with him, right? A Sefer Torah goes to war with the king of Israel. Yoshev badin v'hu he sits in din in a court case, right? Okay, it's like Malchei Yehuda, as we pointed out, and it's with him. Meseb v'hikenegdo. It should be with him, and he should read it all his days. Rambam just points out that the king has 2 Sifrei Torah, right? One is with him always, and one, right, that doesn't leave him, like our Mishnah is talking about. There's a second one that stays at his home, right, in his treasury, in his right in the Aron at home. Yeah, and halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda that we mentioned above, right? Rather, maximum amount of wives is 18, and not like Rabbi Shimon, right? That even if there's one more, you say not, rather, halacha is like the Rakama, that maximum is 18 wives for a king.